consider, let's look at labels in PineScript. And usually you want to use labels to mark some signals on your screen, or if you want to add some additional like text information on your chart as well. And let's look how we can use it. So here I have the simplest possible example, and usage of label.new function is quite similar to line.new function, so I think you can get it quite easily. So in the simple case, you have to specify for what bar do you want to display your label. So bar index will display it for the current bar, and also you have to specify like what is the price at which it should be displayed, and some text do you want to add to your label. And let's edit the chart to see how it looks. And as you can see, the label was added for every bar of our history for the last, I think, like 50 bars. And of course, this is just the simplest example. Let's look at more advanced examples. If you want to display your label only for the last bar, you can use, for example, bar state is last variable. Just check it in the if statement, and then it will display it only for the last bar. So I saved it, and as you can see, it seems to work. So now let's look at more advanced examples. So first of all, a nice thing is that actually like text in the label can be dynamic. So here, for example, I computed myself, so I can see I just add values for my close for the current bar and value for the open of the current bar. And after that, I use this as a text, as like variable instead of the text, so it would be fine. And also, if you want to display like a label for the previous bars, you can of course use historical operators. So for example, here I will display my label for like 10th bar in the history. And also you can display your bar in the future. You can just add like bar index and like a plus sign, and how many bars in the future do you want to plot your label on. So let's save it and see how it looks. And as you can see, it works fine. So here, for example, we have on historical label, and here we have label in the future. The same way as for lines, you can use time in your labels as well, instead of like X coordinates. So here, for example, I have the same basically code, but instead of using like bar index, I'm using time, and I specify here that I want to use xlog equal to xlog bar time. And if you know exact time of the label you want to put at, you can use this as well. Let's save it, and you will see that it works absolutely the same way as like bar index, so it's also an option for you. So now let's look at positioning of your labels. So there are three types of positioning in terms of price. So you can specify ylog parameter, and here you can specify one of three options. So first one, ylog price, and if you specify this option, you have to provide exact price at which you want to print your label. And another two options is above the bar and below the bar. And if these options are specified, PineScript will compute position for the labels itself, and you can put anything you want in this like second argument for the price. It won't matter. So let's save it and see how it looks. So here, for example, you can see we have like above the bar label. This is exact price label, and this one is below the bar label. So you can see it works quite nicely. Now let's check different styles of the labels available to you in PineScript. So we'll save it, and let's look at different styles of labels. So there are basically like two types of labels. So one that kind of text is included into the label itself. Usually it starts with style label, and you have like different directions. So label down, label left, label right, label center, and so on. And the other set of like labels is when you have some certain shape like diamond, square, and so on, and you have a text kind of next to it, so above in this case. And you can just look at this kind of list and take a look what works better to you. And also there is like a style none style, and when you specify it, you just see only text on your screen and no label at all, kind of no shape at all. And for certain like indicator, for certain cases, it might work for you quite well. And also, of course, you can work with like colors of your labels. Let's save it to see how it looks. So here I have like two examples of labels, and this one is like blue label with like white color, and this is a red label with like a blue color. So you can specify with the color, you can specify color of the label itself, and with text color parameter you can specify color of the text. So it's quite easy to style your labels to your needs. Another pretty useful feature of labels in PineScript is a tooltip parameter. So tooltip can store like some text and it won't be visible by default on your chart, but if you will hover your mouse over your label, you will see this text. And of course this text can be also dynamic, so you can compute it, and it can be quite complicated as well. So if you want to keep like your chart pretty clean and just not display quite a lot of information, it's a good solution to have these tooltips. So you can just, when you hover your mouse, you'll see them, but overall, like your chart seems to be like quite clean. Now let's look at like sizes of your labels, and you have here like selection of 5 different sizes. So the same as for other like plotting objects in PineScript. So size auto, size tiny, normal, large, and huge. So let's save it to see how it looks. And as you can see, so here is the size auto, size tiny, normal, large, and huge. Just take a look at what works better for your case, and that's quite easy. So labels in PineScript are objects as well as lines. So you can also work with them as with other like variables and with other objects. So you can delete them. So you can use label.delete function to delete like a label if you don't need it anymore. And with this function, you can create quite advanced like logic. I will switch my time frame to let's say 1 hour, and let's save it to see how it works. So here I have like certain logic that I have this function is new bar, and it will return me like a true if current bar is new one in the day. And I have a logic that I see that if my current bar is not new bar, I will delete my previous label. And this logic just allow me to display only the last like a label for the last bar in every day. And sometimes it can be quite useful if you want to display like certain information periodically. Take a look at this kind of logic. This might work for you quite well. As for the lines, labels have quite a lot of functions you can use to get some information from the object created with the line new function, and also you can change some parameters for this object as well. So here, for example, I create like a new like object, and after that I can use like label.getText, get x coordinate, get y coordinate, and also I can use like certain functions like label.setText to change the text of my object. I can change coordinates as well. I can also change coordinates in one function with the set xy like function, and also I can change my xlog like parameter to use like bar time, for example, and I can change like coordinate for it as well. And here also you can change like your ylog as well. If you want to change your like label to be above the bar, for example, you can do this as well. And also you can set size, color, style, text color as well, so that's not a problem for you. And the same way as for the lines, you have this label.all built-in variable, and this built-in variable stores all the labels you plotted in the current session, and you can access it as a regular array, and you can just go with it, work with it, modify certain elements of it, certain labels if you want to. It's quite easy. So here I have the code I use to delete all the labels. It's quite simple. I just basically iterate through entire array, and I will delete all the labels. I'll find them with the label.delete function. So let's save it and see that all labels should disappear from my chart.